All right, so get this. We're going deep today.
Yo.
Yeah, we're talking hypnovibes.
Okay.
And this video is going to stretch your understanding of reality, like really stretch it.
Interesting.
Yeah, hypno-channeling and Akashic records.
Sounds pretty out there.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So in this video, we've got Naomi, the hypnotist.
Right.
She's guiding Jessica, and Jessica is the one being hypnotized. And she's essentially channeling energy to tap into this realm called the Akashic records.
The Akashic records. I've heard of those, kind of like a universal library.
Exactly. They're often described as containing all the information, like every thought, action, experience throughout all of time.
Wow. All of time.
Yeah, and Jessica's experience is wild. She doesn't see like physical books or anything, you know,
Right.
but like an energetic space with vast amounts of information.
That makes sense, like an energetic or vibrational realm.
Yeah, not a physical place you could visit, but like a dimension of consciousness.
I like that.
And get this, she even compares it to a computer database, like accessing the cosmic internet.
That's a good analogy. It makes it more relatable.
Right.
Especially in our digital age, it's like how the Akashic records might be organized.
Exactly. Like, how do we even access that information?
Right.
Well, she does it through intention.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, for example, she asks about how many lives she's lived.
Okay.
And the answer, billions and billions.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It is billions upon billions, ongoing and constantly expanding.
That really changes how we think about time.
Right. Like, it's not linear.
Yeah, more fluid, interconnected.
And it's not like she's seeing these past lives as like slideshows or movies.
Yeah.
It's an intuitive, energetic knowing.
Interesting. So not visual or auditory.
Yeah, it's a direct knowing. Transcends our normal ways of perceiving information.
That's fascinating.
It is. Now, here's a point that really resonated with me.
Okay.
Out of all those billions of lives, the most important one is the one we're living right now.
That's a powerful message.
It is. It's all about being present, mindfulness.
Exactly, because the Akashic records might have all that knowledge, but our present actions shape our reality.
Right. So then it makes you wonder, if we all have access to this information, why aren't we all walking around with superhuman knowledge?
Yeah, why aren't we?
That's a good question.
It's like we have this hidden potential, but we need to unlock it.
Yes. Like specific techniques or practices.
Exactly. Things like hypno-channeling, meditation, even deep intuition.
Right. And that's where someone like Naomi, as a hypnotist, can really help.
Makes sense, facilitating that process.
And it's about intention, too. Jessica's actively seeking specific information.
So focus and clarity are key.
Yeah, like setting a search in that cosmic database.
I like that analogy.
Without a clear intention, we'd be overwhelmed by all that information.
Right, too much.
So we can access this universal library.
Okay.
But Jessica asks, why?
Why? That is the question.
Her answer, curiosity.
Curiosity, huh?
Yeah, and it makes sense because curiosity drives exploration, discovery.
It expands our consciousness.
Exactly. It's that desire to know who we are, where we come from.
Yeah, of our purpose.
And the Akashic records offer a glimpse into those answers.
like the source code of our existence.
I like that.
It's powerful.
Now this brings us to another concept Jessica mentions, the life review after death.
The life review.
Yeah, but it's not a judgmental thing or a physical place.
Okay.
It's more like an energetic journey, a self-reflection.
Based on the soul's desires.
Right, not a guaranteed experience for everyone, only if the soul seeks it.
Interesting. So we're active participants in our own evolution.
Yeah, we're making choices, learning lessons.
Contributing to our spiritual growth.
And this idea resonates with near-death experiences, people being told to go back.
Like, there's more to learn.
Yeah, exactly. There's this common thread that life is about learning, growing.
Expanding our consciousness.
And the Akashic records help us understand that journey.
Right, like a tool for understanding.
What about those of us who haven't had a near-death experience? Could something like psychedelics, used responsibly, mimic that feeling of dying?
You mean like losing individual identity, ego death?
Yeah, could that give us a glimpse into this interconnected realm?
That's a fascinating question.
Right.
We have to be cautious about comparisons, but there are parallels.
Okay.
The dissolution of the ego with psychedelics can lead to profound experiences.
Interconnectedness, transcendence,
Exactly.
like all these paths, near-death experiences, hypnotic states, psychedelics, they all point to the same thing.
That our consciousness is much bigger than we think.
And we're all interconnected.
It's mind-bending.
It is. We've covered a lot, from hypno-channeling to the Akashic records.
A lot of ground.
What are your thoughts?
It's challenging how we think about knowledge.
Right.
It's not about books and lectures.
But tapping into a deeper knowing.
Within us.
And that's the real power of the Akashic Records. It's about understanding ourselves and our place in the universe.
I agree. It's not just what we know, but how we connect to it.
And how it shapes our perception of reality.
Exactly. Makes you wonder if accessing all that knowledge in the Akashic Records changes how we see purpose and destiny.
Right. Like if we can see billions of past lives, does that mean our path is already set? Or do we still have free will?
That's a big question.
It is.
But Jessica's experience seems to say that while the records might hold our past and potential futures, it doesn't take away our ability to make choices.
So it's not predestination.
Yeah, more like understanding the patterns and possibilities and then choosing our path.
Okay, I get that. But if we have this universal library inside us, why do we even need Akashic readings? Shouldn't we all be walking around with, like, all the knowledge of the universe?
Well, think of it like this. We all have the potential to be amazing athletes,
Right.
but it takes training and discipline and usually a good coach to reach that potential.
So Akashic readers are like those coaches.
Exactly. They help us tap into our own wisdom and understand the information.
That makes sense.
Like guides.
Going back to the life review, Jessica says it's not judgmental, more like self-reflection based on what the soul wants.
Yeah, it's comforting.
It is. It's not about punishment or reward, just understanding our choices, learning and evolving.
Exactly.
But what if we don't learn the lessons we're supposed to in this lifetime? Do we get like a cosmic do-over?
Well, a lot of spiritual traditions believe in reincarnation, that we live multiple lives to learn and evolve.
So each life is a new chance for growth.
Yeah. It's not about getting everything right in one go, but the ongoing journey of the soul.
It all comes back to Jessica's point that this life now is the most important.
Oh, the one we're living right now.
If each lifetime is a step in a bigger journey, then focusing on the present moment is even more crucial.
Absolutely. The past informs us, the future inspires us, but the present is where we create our reality.
I'm seriously thinking about trying an Akashic reading. What would you ask if you could access all that knowledge?
That's a good question.
It is.
I'd probably explore how everything is connected. You know how seemingly random events and people are woven together?
It's like seeing the hidden patterns that shape our lives.
Exactly. And remember the power of our own subconscious minds.
Right. Like in the video with hypno-channeling, we can access those deeper levels of knowing within us.
Exactly.
This whole conversation has been amazing. It's like a reminder that reality is much more than we see.
It really is.
It's an invitation to explore, to trust our intuition, to embrace the mystery.
Yeah.
The Akashic Records aren't just some concept. They're a source of knowledge and potential inside each of us.
Right.
And the real adventure isn't just about getting the information. It's using it to grow, expand our consciousness, and contribute to the universe.
I couldn't agree more. As we tap into that wisdom, we become more than just observers.
We become participants in creation.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we haven't even talked about the connection between psychedelics and ego death.
Oh, right.
And I want to hear your thoughts on Dolores Cannon and her work with the Akashic Records.
We definitely need to dive deeper into those topics.
We do.
But for now, let's focus on psychedelics and ego death.
Yeah, let's get into that. Sounds like we're going even deeper down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Okay, so let's unpack this whole psychedelics mimicking dying leading to ego death thing.
Right.
It sounds pretty intense.
It can be, but in a good way. You know, like when the ego dissolves, that sense of self, it can open up these incredible experiences.
Yeah.
Of interconnectedness, even mystical insights.
So would you say psychedelics, used responsibly, of course, could be like a glimpse into that expanded consciousness Jessica had?
There are definitely parallels.
Okay.
They both involve altered states of consciousness, right? Where your normal perception of reality shifts.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what Jessica said about near-death experiences. People leaving their bodies, encountering something beyond the physical.
Like another realm.
It makes you wonder if they're all tapping into the same thing.
Right. It's fascinating, isn't it? You
Yeah.
see these similarities in near-death experiences, psychedelic experiences, people accessing the Akashic records.
Like a common thread.
Exactly. And it challenges our usual way of thinking.
It does.
Opens up new possibilities about reality.
Okay, let's talk about Dolores Cannon.
Okay.
In the video, she's described as someone who could combine information within the Akashic Records.
Right, like decoding the universe.
What are your thoughts on her work?
Dolores Cannon was amazing.
Yeah.
A pioneer in hypnotherapy and past life regression.
Mm-hmm.
Her work suggests that in deep trance states, we can access not only our own past lives,
Oh, wow.
but also this collective pool of knowledge held in the Akashic records.
So it's not just personal memories, but universal information.
Exactly. And she developed techniques for synthesizing all this information, identifying patterns, drawing conclusions about consciousness, reality, even human evolution.
Like she was putting together a giant puzzle.
And what's even more mind-blowing is that this knowledge, it's not static.
Really?
Yeah, it's constantly evolving as we contribute our own experiences to it.
Wait, so we're actively shaping the Akashic records?
It seems that way.
With our thoughts, actions, experiences.
It's a big responsibility.
It is.
Yeah.
But also empowering.
Right. It suggests we're not just bystanders.
But participants in shaping reality.
Exactly, both individually and collectively.
So if the Akashic records are always changing, does that mean the future isn't set?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
But the idea that consciousness shapes reality opens up the possibility of free will influencing our future.
This whole deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
Akashic records, hypno-channeling, psychedelics, interconnectedness.
That's a lot to take in.
Where do we even go from here?
I think the key is to stay curious.
Yeah.
Keep exploring. Keep asking questions. Trust your intuition.
Right.
The Akashic records are more than a concept. They're this vast realm of knowledge within each of us.
So it's not just about accessing information, but applying it.
Right.
Expanding our consciousness, contributing to the evolution of everything.
Exactly. As we tap into that wisdom, we become more than observers.
Active participants in creation.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. But before we go, we want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
What would you ask if you could access the Akashic records? What mysteries would you unravel? What insights would you gain? Let us know in the comments. Maybe your questions will guide our next deep dives into the unknown.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep expanding your awareness.
The universe is full of wonders, and the Akashic records are just one key to unlocking them.
And now, I want Jessica's conscious awareness to be with me. And this time, I want you to explore and venture to Akashic record. I know this is not a physical place, but might be able to see the structure of this place. When I count to 3, we'll be there. 1, going to this library-like place. 2, getting closer and closer, almost there. And 3.
It's more of an energetic space.
Right? What do you see?
I don't actually see books or libraries.
You're inside.
I'm in it.
But what do you feel?
It's a space that contains a lot of information.
So how the information are being kept?
Well, it's in that energetic space.
It's like a computer?
Yes, it's like a computer database. If you wish to learn about something, you can just have the intention and then it will come.
Let's try yours. So let's say you want to know how many lives you had. Can you find out?
On Earth?
No, altogether. How do you get that information?
It comes in an energetic answer.
What do you see? What do you...
It felt like billions and billions.
So
but it's ongoing.
Right, and they're still happening.
Yes, and it's not one number.
Right.
It's just a representation of it's still going and going.
Right. And so let's say if I ask you which life is one of the most important lives.
It's the life I'm having at the moment.
Oh, maybe that's always the answer.
Yes, I think that's always the answer.
But sometimes people tell me it looks like a library and they can see the energetic books.
I think it depends on how people see it.
So you don't even see, you just feel?
I can feel it.
But there's so many things are going on in the universe. So this is how the volume, how can you feel the volume?
It's pretty vast, but it's in its own corner.
So what is, how to say, basically this Akashic record is also inside of us, in our subconscious.
We all have access to it because we're all connected with it.
So when you go within,
yes,
you can just know.
Tap into it,
right?
Inner knowing.
Right. But so let's say people are doing Akashic reading. They're, in a way, have access. They can.
They're in a way asking the person they're doing it for permission to access their own inner subconsciousness.
So they still have to go to that person's.
Yes, that person's specific.
Right. But what's the purpose? I understand it's a record. But why we need to know those things?
Because just people are just curious. It's not exactly necessary.
I see. And can you also, right, since you're there, can you go to a different place? This is when people, let's say, finish a human life and they do this called life review, that place. I know not everyone will have life review.
It's not a place, but it's more of a journey. It's
Yeah.
just something that just happens afterwards.
It happens every time.
Not every time.
Uh-huh.
If the soul wishes to experience it, they will.
But who does the interview or the review?
It's everything is a reflection of themselves. If they wish to do it, it will happen.
Someone, they will feel
something. It will just happen.
I see.
Because that's synchronicity.
And so let's say people who have near-death experience, and because they are not ready to be back, so they always see someone will tell them, you have to go back. How does that work?
Nothing is always outside of ourselves. It's always a part of ourselves. So if that has to manifest in that way in order for them to understand what's going on, then it will be.
But why some people will not have near-death experience?
Because it's not relevant to their life.
I see. That's always the answer.
Right.
So can we say certain psychedelics, it's almost like making us experience that?
Differently.
That you might have the feeling that you're dying.
Because you lose a sense of who you are as a human.
As an individual.
Right, ego death maybe.
I see. Anything else that you can tell me?
Nothing you probably don't already know.
So it seems that Dolores Cannon is working in Akashic record. Can you see her?
Just like combining information, she's combining different points.
Oh, combining.
Or maybe she is coming up with a formula for something.
Right, what is that for?
I don't know. It's for expanding the vastness of this universe. Expanding.
So that means we can do that. We can make it expand more.
Yes.
Very good. So I think that's good enough for today. And all the information is very useful and expand our consciousness. And I'm going to let you come back.